Tomorrow, the only show right now on Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage. This is ET Now's daily initiative to give you a platform and a voice. On Direct Connect today, a panel of experts answering your queries, and on Small Giants tonight, we're bringing you the story of Tree Ganesha as well as Candle Lumiere. On Direct Connect tonight, we have Prabhakar Dalal, the former Executive Director of Exim Bank, as well as Vishal Thakkar, co-founder of Contratra Universal, taking in your questions. Do stay tuned. At the end of the show, we'll tell you how you too can get in touch with us and send us your questions. Mr. Dalal, Vishal, pleasure as always having you gentlemen here with us tonight to run us through some of the responses that you have for the queries that have come in. Let's start with a call that's coming to us from Vijay Rai. Vijay, go ahead.
Many small and medium scale industries do not have the capability like our industries to employ sophisticated SAP and other ERP systems. So my question is, how can small and medium industry be serviced so that they can get an equal footing, the same advantage as large industries who have larger volume and therefore more economy of scale?
The simple and the easy answer, of course, would be to use cloud. But is it as basic as that? Is there much more that you want to tell, Vijay?
So there is a cluster approach, a cluster strategy, which I think across the world it is being adopted. So not only for software, but for other things also, like common facilities, common infrastructure. You can have raw material procurement or various facilities that can be shared among the small scale industry, and the expenses can be shared by all the participants. And even the Government of India Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, they have a cluster development program where they give the subsidy and all that. And there is UNDP program is there, there is UNIDO program is there. So they provide hand holding and support for this kind of thing.
So Vijay's question was, are there organizations that will help these SMEs and MSMEs bunch together? And there clearly are.
There are, yes.
Yeah, there is. I would propose a very different kind of an approach. Of course, see, clusters is one approach which is very, very valid. But let's say that there is no cluster for this particular thing, then how do you pay for it? See, he's saying that the software is expensive. So he could look at paying to the software development company by doing a partnership model or offering equity, because many a times today a lot of companies, especially startups or SMEs, they offer equity option as payment if they don't have the money to kind of buy licenses for these softwares, because these softwares also become a part of their long term business strategy, and the vendor providing the software can get much more value at a later date when his company develops. So that's a more capitalistic kind of answer.
Vijay, that's in response to your question. Thanks for sending that in. Our next query is coming to us on Facebook. Avinash Chaudhary has written in to us on our Facebook page to say they deal in dice, punches and press tools. Bigger companies, he says, do not give them payment on time. Taxes are very heavy, which are to be paid before receiving any payment. How do we resolve this issue is Avinash's question to our experts. He says small scale industries need support from the government. Please suggest how he can go about getting that. So that's a catch-22, and I do know SIDBI, for instance, does give relief to small companies which are not getting payment from their vendors on time. But specifically in response to him, what would you have to say?
This is a very pertinent question, because not only him, but there are many small scale exporters who are facing this problem. So what should be done is that one is under MSME Act 2006. There is a stipulation that the suppliers to micro, small and medium enterprises, payment must be made within 45 days of supply. Although in practice it is not being implemented. Because then if they do that, they have to go to Industries Commissioner, and then if they have good relations with the suppliers, and if that could sour relations, and from business point of view, always it is not advisable. And on the other hand, they have to pay taxes, therefore their working capital requirement has increased, and that has a cost implication. So one is that they should ask for payment early from their customers, or they should take more working capital and price in that additional cost that they have to bear to their customers.
I have two things to add. One is, under the new GST law, government under the penalty provisions have clearly mentioned that any provider of a service does not get paid by the recipient of the service within 90 days, the interest on the late payment will be added to recipient's liability. So, that is good news for him, that he will get paid within 90 days, because GST, they are planning to enforce it seriously. This is not a new thing, it is a legacy of service tax which they have kind of carried it to GST, but in service tax it was never kind of enforced. That is one. Another is that government is setting up Receivable Exchange of India, which will provide domestic factoring service without recourse to MSMEs, and this will be out by 1st of December. So, he can take all the list of his receivables, provide their GST number, go to SIDBI which and Receivable Exchange of India, which is going to be a subsidiary of SIDBI, and he can get his money much before at a very small fraction of a cost which he would have to incur if he is blocking his working capital limits.
Okay. So, Avinash, there are a lot of options which are available to you. Do look at them, including of course relief under GST and factoring, like our experts are pointing out. Our next query is also coming in via call from Chandrakant Rathi. Go ahead, Chandrakant.
For us, the main challenge is even the doctors, because we deal in lot of in nutrition, do not understand how enzymes itself can act as a drug or as a benevolent factor. They know very well all the drugs they give or all the medicines they give is to help the body's own enzyme system. Yet they don't understand how enzyme alone also can help the overall nutrition or health of the people. And that is the educating our customer in industries as well as in the human health and nutrition is a major challenge for us.
Okay, I'm not sure of the technicalities associated, say for example, with the use of enzymes, but do you have anything that you might want to say to him?
Yes. One is, enzyme is again touted to be the 8th wonder of the world, and most uses of enzymes are related to creating a more sustainable planet, because it reduces pollution and it has many applications in food, in textile, in cleaning, etc. But coming to his query, if you see that there are not many people who are aware about enzymes. So, I feel that the today's social media platforms, I mean, if you go onto the internet or you go onto your mobile internet, you see there are plethora of self-publishing options, writing blogs, articles. Basically, when you start doing all of this and you start proliferating on the internet, you will identify a pool of people who would eventually become your target audience, whom you can call them as enzyme enthusiasts.
Yeah, the enzyme technologies have several applications, industrial applications and pharmaceutical application. They are used in dairy industry, detergent industry, brewing industry and pharmaceuticals, of course. So, he should target, like he wants to develop enzyme molecule for which industry. He should target that particular industry. It can be done through various means like social media, or he should prepare a flyer and send it by mail or through social media to target clients. I just came across something like small thing like apple vinegar cider. Somebody has prepared a small thing like what are the benefits of that. It has just become viral and people have started using that. So, if he targets his client base and then sends this like what are the benefits of the product that he is going to put it in the market, he can be successful.
Sure. Chandrakant, that's in response to your queries. Gentlemen, thank you all then very much for being with us here tonight and running us through the answers for the questions that have come. Time for a break. On the other side, we'll bring you the story of Tree Ganesha and Candle Lumiere on our Small Giants segment. On Small Giants tonight, we're bringing you the story of Tree Ganesha as well as Candle Lumiere. While Ganesh Chaturthi may be a festival that unites the entire state of Maharashtra, large-scale water pollution and destruction and debris seems to have become a part of the festival over the last few years. Witnessing this 30-year-old entrepreneur decided to do something about it and come up with an eco-friendly Ganesha for the festive season. Anshua Banerjee has the story for you.
It's that time of the year when the entire city of Mumbai is decorated like a newlywed bride. Celebrated in the entire country, Ganesh Chaturthi commemorates the power of elephant head god Ganesha.
Ganesh Chaturthi is one of the most celebrated festivals in Maharashtra. A time when millions of people bring home beautiful idols of the deity in every size possible. However, there is a callous flip side to the essence of festivity. As a part of the immersion process, these idols get immersed in nearby water bodies after the 10 days of celebration, affecting the ecosystem. An art director by profession and an artist by passion, Dattadri Kothur started his initiative of making these green idols with red soil, organic fertilizers and clay-filled seeds of plants. The idols are set atop clay pots with a base of soil. Once the festival is over, instead of immersion, these idols can be watered, which would lead the clay idols to melt over a span of a few days, and eventually the seeds inside them would begin sprouting and turn into lasting mementos of the idol.
The idea behind Tree Ganesh belongs to a very different school of thought. What was your initial inspiration behind this venture?
गणपति फेस्टिवल जितने फेमस है, जितने बड़ा है, हर साल लाखों में गणपति लेके आते हैं अपने घर पे और सेलिब्रेशन होता है। कितना श्रद्धा से गणपति लेके आते हैं, बट जो विसर्जन के बाद जो सिचुएशन होता है, जो मुझे लगता था कि ऐसे कैसे, तो मैं सोचने लगा कुछ तो इस पे करना चाहिए, कुछ तो सोल्यूशन निकाल सके। तो मैंने सोचा कि फर्स्ट रेड सॉइल से बना सके, इजीली वो जो प्लांट के लिए यूज़ है। तो मैंने उसके बाद फिर से फर्टिलाइज़र मैंने मिक्स किए और उसके बाद मैंने उसके अंदर सोचा था कि सीड्स ही डाल लेंगे और वो सीड्स के साथ एक कुंडी में रखेंगे और वो कुंडी के साथ आप सेलिब्रेट करेंगे 5 दिन। और 5वें दिन पे अपने घर पे टेरेस पे या बालकनी पे जाके आप जैसे प्लांट को, पौधों को पानी डालते हो, वैसे आप गणपति जी के ऊपर आप पानी डालेंगे तो एवरीडे वो विसर्जन होके उसमें से एक पौधा निकालता है। तो आप जैसे गणपति फेस्टिवल इको फ्रेंडली भी कर लेते हो और उसके साथ एक प्लांट भी लगाते हो।
So tell us, how did you learn this art and make a career out of it?
मेरे गुरु सूर्यकांत शिंदे, विशाल सूर्यकांत शिंदे, जो गणपति आर्टिस्ट है, स्कल्पचर है, सो मेरे घर के पास होते हैं। मैं एवरीडे बचपन गए 15 सालों से मैं उनके पास सीख रहा हूँ और वो मुझे सिखा रहे थे। प्लांटेशन का मुझे आइडिया नहीं था, तो मैंने प्लांटेशन के लिए वर्कशॉप किए थे कि कौन से सीड्स कौन से महीने में डालने चाहिए और 7-8 टाइम्स घर पे एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था। 7-8 टाइम्स मैंने आइडल्स बनाए थे और घर पे ही विसर्जन करके देखे थे टेरिस पे। सो जब भी जाके मुझे 8 टाइम पे सक्सेस मिला था, जो लेडी फिंगर थे, जो बहुत ही ईजीली ग्रो होने लगा और अच्छा ग्रो होने लगा।
Do you think this process can be inculcated to produce larger size idols, and do you think this can replace the traditional ones?
मुझे लगा कि ये जगह ले सकते हैं, बट बड़े साइज से नहीं, बट जो छोटे मंडल वाले तो ये एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं और इजीली हो सकता है। सेलिब्रिटी भी सेलिब्रेट करने लगे कि ट्री गणेशा बहुत ही नया और इम्पॉर्टेंट है, नेचर के लिए कितना यूज़फुल और कितने इफेक्टिव है। सो दिया मिर्जा मैम, रितेश देशमुख, एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर विनोद तावड़े सर, देवेंद्र फडणवीस सर ने फेलिसिटेट किए थे कि आइडिया जैसे इको फ्रेंडली सेलिब्रेट करना है तो ट्री गणेशा करना चाहिए, कि उन्होंने भी अनाउंस किए थे।
So how many members do you have in your team, and talk to us about the extensive training process before every Ganesh Chaturthi?
एक्चुअली हम लोग ने अभी 800 से 900 तक के बीच में हम लोग ने बनाया है। बट मेरा टीम 15 जन का है। 15 जन अलग अलग हॉबी आर्टिस्ट लोग हैं, कॉलेज जाके आते हैं, जो मोस्टली मेरे एम यही था कि नए यूथ को ये समझाए कि ट्री गणेशा क्या है, इसमें इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है।
At a time when we are talking about Swachh Bharat and Make in India, as you mentioned, the Chief Minister and the Education Minister have felicitated your venture. Do you think the government is doing enough?
मुझे वही सपोर्ट चाहिए था कि अगले साल में और ज़्यादा, ये टाइम मैंने 1000 तक गणपति बना, अगले साल मुझे और ऑर्डर ज़्यादा थे, बट सरकार की तरफ से मुझे हेल्प हो गए कि सरकारी स्पेस मिल गया, तो मैं साल भर गणपति बनाऊँ और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा ट्री गणेशा अवेलेबल करो।
Given the fact that there is so much of water scarcity in Mumbai, how do you go along educating people about the water contamination and your organic Ganesh?
ये साल हम लोग ने 3-4 स्कूल्स में डेमोस एंड वर्कशॉप लिए थे कि लोगों को पता चले कि ट्री गणेशा और इको फ्रेंडली सेलिब्रेट करना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है। स्कूल में जाके इसका इम्पोर्टेंस बताया था कि बप्पा आप लेके आते हो इतने, उसके बाद समुद्र में कैसे होता है और इसका इम्पोर्टेंस क्या होता है। आप प्लांट्स, ये गणपति बप्पा से, ट्री गणेशा से एक प्लांट आपको देता है, तो साल भर आपके साथ रहेगा और आपके साथ ही रहेंगे तो आपको भी अच्छा लगेगा।
So how do you see Tree Ganesh growing in the upcoming years?
लोगों का रिस्पांस अभी बढ़ते जा रहा है, तो मुझे लग रहा है कि लोग ट्री गणेशा एक्सेप्ट करने लगे हैं, तो अगले 3 साल तक 50,000 से ज़्यादा गणपति बना सकूँ और जितने ज़्यादा मैं कर सकता हूँ उतना ज़्यादा मैं कर पाऊँगा और पूरा ऑल ओवर इंडिया नहीं, ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में ट्री गणेशा स्प्रेड सको, तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ।
They say every end is a new beginning. His Ganesh idol gives birth to new life, as he likes to call it. When asked about his future plans for the Tree Ganesha, Kothur says that he will consider his initiative a success when he's sold over 1 lakh idols, implying the same number of plants in the city of Mumbai.
With the festive season just around the corner, you do have many candle makers, but not enough making something specifically for the festive season. Pooja Jain caught up with the makers of Candle Lumiere to bring you the story of how to differentiate yourself in this candle market. Do take a look.
The craft of creating a handmade candle is as much an art as a science. With its hands-on, highly customized candle-making workshops, Candle Lumiere is disseminating the craft amongst DIY enthusiasts and setting the festive season aflame. Here's how. What are some of the do's and don'ts of candle making?
There is an element of science to it, you know. Let me walk you through the process of candle making in brief. So the first step is melting the wax, you know, and adding all your additives which are required to make it a good quality candle. And then, you know, pouring that melted wax, after of course coloring and perfuming if you want to, into a mold. And wick is another important element of the candle. So you have to make sure that it is centered, it's right straight up, you know, so that when the candle is ready and melted, it melts properly. So there are a lot of precautionary measures which I emphasize at Candle Lumiere classes, like, you know, make use of the thermometer wherever necessary, you know, especially when you're new, you don't have much judgment about how soon will a wax melt and how soon will it reach a certain temperature. Coming to the art part of it, you know, candles have evolved so much, you know, in the look, the feel, the purpose, all of it, you know. So we don't just have candles which are these plain color pillar candles, you know. There are so many molds which have come out in the market, you know. There are metal molds, there are rubber molds, silicone molds of different shapes and sizes. Once you get through past the science, you know, the theory part, then it's all about creativity, how creative you can be.
Candles seem to be one of those signature products that never go out of style. But that said, how has the purpose of candles and the relevance of candles evolved?
It has evolved a lot, you know. Candles are no more, limited to the source of light. We don't need candles for that anymore. Candles have moved into the home decor industry, into the aromatherapy industry as well, because of the options which are available. So there are these pillar candles of different colors, you know, you name it and you have it. There are carved candles which are available. There are hand-painted candles also, and manufacturers take pride in such handmade, hand-painted candles. Then you have taper candles, long-standing taper candles for your dinner tables. Then there is something called as ice candles, which we also teach in our Candle Lumiere class. Then tea lights, floral floating candles, perfumed candles, you know, to suit the mood, you know, depending on the occasion. You know, as long as you flourish on your creativity, the sky is the limit.
You've built an entire business solely based on conducting candle making workshops. What drove that decision, and how have your customer demographics changed with time?
Candle making for me started as a hobby. You know, I didn't think of it from a business perspective initially, but I got interested into it, and I didn't want it to take too many big steps by getting into manufacturing straight away. I wanted to learn the industry, the market which is available, what are the equipments available, raw materials available, and gradually get into manufacturing, which I hopefully will do soon. So that's why I stuck to classes. I found out that, you know, there are a lot of people who are interested. However, you know, the kind of customer base that is approached me has surprised me every time, and the professions in which the candles are used, like to name a few, you know, I have had a tarot card reader who used it during candles for his readings. I had a clinical psychologist who used candles for therapies. Then there are astrologers who demand certain kind of a certain color candle for certain rituals. I have men and women interested in this.
Has technology heavily influenced candle making, or is candle making essentially one of those industries that's been insulated from innovation?
I think the only biggest innovation which could have replaced candles was lights, but it hasn't done that. You know, ages later also candles exist. Earlier ages back, you know, it was just handmade candles, but now you have different kind of molds available. There are metal molds, there are rubber molds, there are silicone molds, and on a factory level there are different machineries altogether. There are wax melters available which melt kilos of wax, you know, at a go. Apart from that, I've seen a good growth in the way the raw materials are made available in the market. They bring out the colors very well in the candles, and they also help in longer burning time. So there are a lot of these supporting elements. The key is also to, you know, be out there in the market, be aware of these new products, and, you know, introduce them to the people who are interested in candle making. So that's what I constantly, you know, strive to do at Candle Lumiere.
What's on offer from Candle Lumiere this festive season? And as a one-woman operation, how do you cater to this spike in demand?
I get inquiries from all over India, so I try to put as many DIY videos on Candle Lumiere as much as possible. We announce our batches early on, and we focus, you know, depending on the season, we focus on that kind of candles, like this Ganesha Chaturthi or Diwali. We'll focus more on diyas, tea lights, the floating candles, the scented floral candles. Through my structured candle making workshops, I try to make the skill available to cater to the requirement of our our culture, our rich culture. So that's the bit that I always strive to do at Candle Lumiere.
I'm a tarot reader by profession, so just the way the deck is very important for me, it's like a goddess for me. The same way, candle wax is very sacred in my work. I wanted a basic workshop wherein I could learn the basic aspects of candle making, because I've bought many books over the years regarding candle making and others, but it's one thing to read a book, it's another thing to actually experience a workshop and go out there and make your own candles.
Candle Lumiere is decoding the candle making process and empowering its graduates to both learn and earn from the newly mastered craft. By shedding more light on how best to combine age-old tradition with new age techniques, the company has outshone its contemporaries like a candle in the wind.
Completely out of time then on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. If you have anything you want to say to us or you want to send in your questions, do remember you can always write in at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. On social media, tweet at us at LOT_ET now or at me personally at Sunanda_J. On Facebook, we're on Leaders of Tomorrow on ET now, or call us on that number you see on your screen. We promise to have all your questions answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.